Yo,
Hey,
Stevie DB in the building.
how you doing, man?
I'm good, doggy.
What you doing?
Hey, bro, have you heard of this last week's just a bunch of accusations for like sexual misconduct?
Dude, I know my boy
and even
Danny,
sexual
bro.
other Danny. Who Danny?
Danny Masterson, man. That 70s show.
Oh,
had no idea.
right. Yeah.
But
What was the story with him?
Dude, his is pretty bad.
That was a
I'm not gonna
pothead.
lie.
That was a pothead one, right?
Yeah, technically Steve. I think his name was Steve.
Well, they're all potheads. So, okay, yeah, but the blonde
Yeah, but
guy.
he was Steve.
Tell
He
me
was
about this
Steve.
one, because I don't know much about this one. I didn't even.
So I mean, long story short, I haven't really looked too much into it, but they apparently he's been accused of on 3 counts. They're prosecuting him for 3 counts of rape with different women. So I don't know how he's gonna get out of that. By no means do I say that that's correct. But what I'm saying is that it was a shock to me because whenever I hear one of these these people these characters in shows that I really adored, in a way, Steve from that 70s show, which is Danny Masterson, Kevin Spacey, these people who have been canceled, who have basically their lives have been ripped. He was doing an Ashton Kutcher show called The Ranch. They wrote him out of the show once the accusations surfaced. He wasn't even being prosecuted.
Danny.
Once the accusation, Danny, yeah. Kevin Spacey with the touching of a younger man back in the day, when you know what I'm saying.
To be fair with Kevin Spacey, I mean, even though I personally don't think that takes from his artistic stuff, wasn't
it's
his
amazing.
situation very creepy or?
Yeah, I mean, I actually, it's only now that I'm more curious about these things because there's so many people getting canceled, and then now I'm reliving, dude, look at all the greats that we've lost, due to this. Now, that doesn't mean that they're all safe.
That sounds fucked up. I mean, come on, Cosby. Come on.
Cosby, dude. No. I
mean, my boy Epstein. They drove him to the death. And do I have to talk about Weinstein? I mean, this guy giving poor girls roles in amazing movies. We're losing the great ones.
No. I mean, that's terrible. You're right. It did come out a little weird. I want to clarify. I just think that the people who have done a really good job, it's surprising to me that they're it's surprising when stuff like this happens. That's basically it. So, but for Danny,
what are the what is the severity of the accusations? Does it hold ground? Because I think that's the main thing. We're gonna talk about a few people.
Yeah.
But the thing that people gotta understand is that, and we're talking about this because we want to bring light to this subject that are very delicate and that people try to stay away from. Yeah. We need to look at the facts, and we need to understand that bad things can be done if you're a guy or if you're a girl. So we need to look at the situations case by case and be fair to both parties, because being categorized as a sex abuser, rapist, pedophile, molester, those are very strong words that just being accused can fuck up your life.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure to look at these cases objectively and not go with the mob, because we'll get into different cases that you can see different gray lines. Some of them are more black and white, but some of them are sort of in gray lines. So what are the facts or what we know about this situation with Danny? This is not Dan the Man, Radcliffe.
No, not Dan the Man. Okay,
which we support. We support.
Correct. And that kind of piggybacks now with everything coming back.
It does.
Dude, I just type in Danny Masterson into Google, and this is hilarious. Church of Scientology tried to silence Danny Masterson's alleged rape victims suit. So now
so he's part of Scientology?
Now I'm like, yo, this is too deep, bro.
Dang.
I don't know if I want to get into Danny into the whole
So
like
the
thing
Scientology
of
church
banning
at one
if
point tried to help him out, and
yeah.
and cover up. Okay, so did you, in your opinion, you've read like allegedly, is it sort of what like is the case strong against him?
Yeah, so his lawyers honestly think that once everything comes out that it's going to be fine. But basically he was charged on 3 counts of rape in Los Angeles on Wednesday. This is June 18 when the article was written, so maybe a week and a half ago or a week ago.
Okay.
He had to post a $3.3 million bail.
Damn.
That's crazy.
Balling.
For forcibly raping 3 women in separate incidences occurring between 2001 and 2003. Like we said in our other podcast, the 2000s were a crazy time.
Yeah, was this during, wasn't this when he was like at his prime?
Yeah, I mean 2001, 2003.
That's when the show was out, right?
That's probably when. Yeah, that's probably when that '70s show was out.
Okay, and what does the article show? Explain what are the things, like the things that came out, like this girl said it's this, or proof, or what is the case against them specifically? Is it just 3 girls that came out and said something? Do they have proof? What is the situation?
So right here it says that basically he's accused of raping a 23-year-old woman between January and December of 2001. He's also allegedly raped a 28-year-old woman in April of 2003, and a 28.
Oh.
28-year-old woman April 2003, and a 23-year-old woman sometime between October and December of the same year, 2003. These are the charges. So, but mind you, this person now today is married with a family and a wife and everything like that, and that doesn't make him safe. But what I would like to know is, how does his wife feel about him? Right? Like, what is his characteristics with her? You know what I'm saying? Because usually you can tell, like, if a person is violent. Like, how does a person rape 3 people and then all of a sudden has a family and that's all happy?
I mean, but we also cannot say that because you have a good family now and you look like a good, decent human being, that you didn't do some foul shit in the past. But what I'm saying are these just accusations. When I'm saying just, I don't mean that's anything little, but is it just the word of some women against his, or are there text messages or emails? Like, well, of course I wouldn't say that he raped him or not, but is the accusation that he straight up forcibly grabbed him and raped him, or was it that they got together one night, they drank, because this is when it gets gray, because you know what I mean. It's just so many. Because on one side, when one girl comes out and sort of says something, then it makes other girls that went through the same shit feel comfortable to come out and also tell their story, which makes sense, right? Because it might seem like when a lot of them come out after one said something, it sort of looks opportunistic. But also, there's another side of that coin where it's like you might have been scared to say anything, but now that someone came out, you're like, all right, now it's not just me. So there's 2 sides of that coin, and people need to understand that there's 2 sides. And we need to be very careful with this, because I think people are on both ends, to be fair. But sometimes they're just too straight shot to like say this happened, that's it.
So from reading this and listening to what you're saying, like, I mean, if we're gonna talk about what it is that what is the validity of the argument, he was prosecuted, right? So to some degree, there is a potential that it could have happened, right? But we don't know what that potential is. I mean, I think especially law enforcement these days, their job is to do an investigation and to look into things, right? But I will say that what he and his lawyers have told CNN is that he was disappointed that they ripped him from the show of the ranch, which is how it all began. And then further down the line, he says that he from day one that he's denied these outrageous allegations against him, and these claims are more than 15 years ago without merit. So I would like to see basically if he has any sort of like proof to back it up. But also that he's never been charged with a crime, let alone convicted of one in this country. Oh no, of one, and then in this country. So maybe that's a different sentence.
Because he's from Canada.
Not to say that he's from Canada and got convicted of something there. I didn't want to put.
Do we know what his crime in Canada was? Because if it was
no. The sentence the sentence was broken. So
I never done this in this country.
In this country.
All right.
But he says you're presumed
I left that in the
so
past. In Canada. No, but dude, because this is the thing, bro. I'm not saying. Wait,
before I go further, real quick, that CNN, mind you, this is an article that was written just the other day, and this is stuff that has been brewing in the past. Up until right now, CNN has not been able to and not been able to speak with any of Masterson's accusers. So that also kind of speaks to me, like they're so, like, what is the dynamic there? Like Danny's out here talking to CNN saying that he's completely innocent. You guys have a band of 3 and none of you have talked to CNN.
Sort of, to be fair, I think they should be liable to speak to the courts, but they might not want to go to the public to make it a whole little show. So that part I could see. But now I this is the important thing to also look at. When some girls come out with saying something about this guy, right? Mm-hmm. And without any proof, which doesn't mean it didn't happen. Sometimes it's hard to have proof for these type of things. But technically speaking, all right, before you all throw the tomatoes at me, technically speaking, it could be 3 salty girls that were annoyed that this guy had sex with them and then didn't call them. And then later on, they're like, you know what? This seems like a good time to fuck this guy up. I always hated him. And all I'm saying, isn't that a possibility?
I'm sure that has happened, yeah. I mean, there are probably girls who... There's been plenty of girls that have been discredited because of that sort of...
Because, bro, not long ago, a few days as well, Justin Bieber was accused on some shit due to an article that was written by a person that says there's an anonymous source that wrote to them on Twitter. So, just so that you can see the chain of validity here, right? They put out the story. That automatically puts a bad reputation on Justin Bieber. Now, he has a choice of just letting it go and just be like, yo, I'm not gonna, bow down to any just random person accusing me of bullshit without proof. But he actually came out with, the receipts. He had, proof that he was with Selena Gomez at the time after a concert and all this shit. But he already got hit with that reputation hit, right? So this is why it's very delicate, because there's 2 sides of it. We do know there's cases of girls, going. Okay, let's make something clear. There's bad people in the world, regardless of who you are. There's bad people that are within the white people. There's bad people within the black people. There's bad people within the Hispanic people. There's bad people within men. There's bad people within women. There's bad people within home sellers. And there's bad people within the police department. What I'm trying to say is there's good and bad people in any group of people that you decide to collect from. So making it a situation where whatever the woman says is right all the time is dishonest and dangerous, actually. So, however, I do understand that this is dynamic when it comes to these rape cases, where at times it is very hard for a woman to provide proof unless they come out with this right away. Because I would assume if you get raped and then you go to the cops, they can do a test, right? That this guy actually penetrated you. We don't know if it was consensual, but at least we know he penetrated you, which gives us a lot to work with. Maybe that's a bit strong for me to say, but I think that's how sort of,
Without me being criminally educated in the criminal justice system, that sounds like a valid point. My thing is, if somebody hits your car, The first thing you call is 911. And I mean, I know that there's a lot of controversy on, oh, you know, women don't feel comfortable coming out and this and that. But that's just something that's like, you know, it's either you do that or you deal with this accusation of
internally,
maybe
right?
this isn't. Yeah. Well, no, but I'm saying, like, you can come out now and have more leg to stand on than coming out 3 years later just because you banded with 2 or more people to say, yeah, let's go after this guy. And I'm just like, you know, like, I think that if you really felt that strongly about it, that I think that you know, people need to find a little bit of the courage and to just do it, you know.
And us as men these days, because this is a bit harder if we talk about the past, but these days we want to let women know and understand and feel comfortable that we're with you, like, protecting you when shit goes down. So when something goes down, right away go report it, so that the necessary things to prove what happened can be done, and you can have a good chance of getting this solved. Okay? Because this is the same situation as if somebody was to say, hey, 3 years ago somebody robbed me in the train and it was this guy. Okay, do you have the video of it? No. Do you have it? No. But you still gotta put him in jail because he robbed me, and I'm saying so. Like, it's literally that, and you don't want to be in that situation. I understand in the past, because it was different times in the 70s and 80s, with the whole Cosby situation, which I don't even know much about it, but I could understand back in those days when people might have been like, hey, you know what? Right now, if I was to come out with this, I wouldn't be able to do much about it, you know. I could understand that, but nowadays, I think everyone needs to come out now when it happens, because otherwise you put the whole society at a risk of like changing the way that the laws work, because otherwise how do you prove it? There's no way to prove it. And the worst thing is like having somebody not pay for their dues because we're not able to prove it.
Yeah, I mean, the other day I saw, not the other day actually, probably sometime last year, I saw a video of a soccer player, who apparently some really hot model came after him, or not after him, but like was coming out and saying that he beat her, that he put his, you know, whatever, but. I mean, I don't know if you call it scummy or not, but maybe in his position, he was recording his whole sexual interaction with her.
I think I know who you're talking about. Are you trying not to say the name?
I don't know the name. I'm not a soccer guy. Who is he?
Oh, a soccer guy.
He's a soccer guy, yeah.
Oh, wasn't this Neymar?
Neymar, yeah, maybe. Whatever it is, he's a big soccer player, right?
Yeah, that he
and
filmed
this
it.
Girl,
okay, yeah, sorry, go on.
He filmed the girl beating him in order to get him to hit her. And that kind of goes back to what you're saying, dude. Like, come on, man. Like, people are fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
Well, this happened with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, where like he actually recorded her, and he got her to admit that he hit her and shit. And this is crazy because if you look at Johnny Depp, right, one of my favorite actors, you could sort of be like, yeah, this guy's super weird and shit. Is he capable of doing some crazy shit? Fuck, maybe. So if you look, if it wasn't because he had the recordings, he'll be fucked.
That's what I'm saying, and that's just,
you shouldn't have to.
That's
be
just
afraid.
the luck of the draw.
Yeah.
But that's the luck of the draw, right? So it's like, okay, like, how are you gonna get so upset right now after you come out 3 years later and you don't get justice, but like you don't have any proof? Well, the same can be said for those who come out and say that they did something, and he doesn't have any proof, but you've set it up in a way that you have a stronger, you know what I mean? It's like,
well, you don't have a proof either, but it's just because he doesn't have a proof of that he didn't do it. Oh, then he's fucked. And we gotta understand that. I mean, this is in the
even
U.S.
if he doesn't go to jail, he's ruined.
Yeah.
Same thing. Fucked. Like, if it wasn't for Bieber not having those receipts, he would have been ruined. Kevin Spacey ruined. Well, I don't know.
Kevin Spacey's pretty ruined, right? And to be fair, bro, I don't know what happened with Kevin Spacey, but it could also be. This is very strong for me to say, but can we agree that in the gay community there's a different dynamic when it comes to like like I've heard gay men say that when they're like 15, 16, they already want to be with older men. Type shit.
I mean, I've heard that with women, and I would imagine that would translate to gay men. I mean,
when you tell me that Kevin Spacey, when he was in his 20s,
he
was with like a 14, 15-year-old gay kid. I mean, let me just first start saying that all of this is like outside of my realm of normality, okay? And I don't want that to sound.
Let me try to fact check you as you talk.
Yeah. So, but I think that even then there's some nuance that we're not talking about, okay? Like we don't know what was happening in these parties. We don't know how old this 14-year-old kid really is in his mind when this shit is going down, because there's gay men that I know that have told me shit like that when they were younger and they already know they were gay, they wanted to be like with 20. Dude, let me put it to you this way. When I was 16, 17 years old, I was trying to hit on girls on my high school that were my age, and they were fucking wanting to be with 21, 22-year-olds that had a car. Right? So it's not a secret that you know, when 15, 16-year-olds, they're looking to be with somebody older, and that one older is normally outside of the legality, right, which is the age of 18. Now, I'm all for keeping it legal. Definitely. I'm not even fond of, when I was 20, of younger girls, just because I just wanted more mature girls. But what I'm trying to say is that is a reality that we gotta accept exists, you know? So what I'm trying to say is, in the gay community, where we know that they're a bit more promiscuous, wouldn't you say that I'm not saying this is how it happened, but that it could be possible that this kid wanted to be there, you know what I mean? And
yeah, I mean, it was the idea here is that, you know, what really kills Spacey, and you know, and I think that's what puts the salt on this on the 14-year-old you know, underage one as well, is that 30 different individuals have come out against Kevin Spacey.
Oh,
right?
okay.
30, but.
Damn, bro.
Yeah.
Hey,
so
thank you for letting me drown there.
No. I mean, I couldn't stop you because I didn't know. You know
I couldn't stop you, bro. I wanted to be the one that looked like the good guy in this podcast.
No. I'm here to back you up. Because at the end of the day, like you said before all this, we are not. we talk about the current topics, and sometimes we get a little into topics that we don't know about, and therefore we have to do a little bit of digging, right?
Yeah.
But it's only fair that we disclose that to our viewers and that we talk about this openly.
It's good to disclose that we're here just talking a lot of shit, and that you shouldn't fucking, you know, go by our teachings to fucking formalize your thoughts in life. But
this is purely entertainment.
Well, but it is our process of thinking, but we're not always know all the details of things. But what I was trying to say is that in that specific situation, you cannot just judge something right away by how it looks. But I wanted to jump to another topic that has to do with this underage stuff, right? There's this comedian, Chris D'Elia, that
love him.
You say, "What, love him?"
Yeah, I love his work.
He's a really funny guy. I like his podcast and shit. And he's being accused from accusations from Twitter, DMs and shit, of grooming underage girls. Now, I just learned what grooming is, which apparently is when a pedophile sort of prepares an underage kid to eventually do shit with, right? So apparently he was talking to underage girls and like trying to hook up with them. From what I saw, from all the things that I saw, I did not see anywhere where he knowingly knew that somebody was underage and kept talking to them and trying to hook up, you know? I mean, as an artist, I'm pretty sure that you're going to get DMs from a bunch of people, and some of them are going to be underage. And some of them you're just going to reply like, hey, thank you for, you know? So I didn't see anything that was really damaging in that sense. Obviously, nothing regarding him having sex with anybody. So what they're accusing him of is like of sort of leading someone to eventually have sex with them, and they were underage, and they were not. He came out with an apology, sort of saying like, look, I might have been a douchebag in the past regarding like liking younger girls over 18, not underage, and telling them to like, hey, go suck my dick after my set in the comedy store or whatever, right? Now, this is the way I look at it.
Crazy.
Unless there's proof of some sexual misconduct for reals, I think being a douchebag and telling a girl that's over 18, like, hey, you want to come suck my dick after my set, that's not illegal. You're being a dick, but that's not illegal.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with you. I think, everybody has a different flavor of sexuality. You know what I'm saying? And as long as he didn't be violent with these women, that's not part of the allegations, right?
No.
He's just
and there's not even anything about them, like women, all consensual as well. Like one of the girls says something like, the only reason why we didn't hook up and have sex is because at the time I had another boyfriend, which says that you were willing to do this as well. Now, if you're underage, then even if you wanted to, he's at fault here. Like, you gotta fucking... And as an artist, you gotta do your checks, bro. You gotta be more careful than the rest of us. Like, when somebody comes, because you got a bunch of girls hitting you up, and you gotta be like, hey, yo, how old are you? Show me the papers, because I ain't fucking up. Now, are we gonna lie to each other and say that there are today 18, 19, 20-year-olds that look super hot, and that sometimes they could be even 17 or 16, but they look older? Now, I personally, even when I was 18, 20, I always liked older girls. But what I'm trying to say is, if it's legal and he likes girls that are like 18, 19 when he's 35, I mean, I'm not into that. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't know. I just don't think there's anything. If she's overage and she's willing to be with this dude, then the only way that I could see it is like, dude, you're really just going and fucking this little, like, when I say little, I mean because he's 35. Like, you're fucking this immature girls that are 18, 19, and 20. It's like, whatever,
barely
bro.
Legal.
Yeah, like,
but
whatever.
Legal.
Yeah, but it is legal, right? But so, what do you think?
I mean, what about all these older men that like travel to from here, like executives and things like that travel to different countries and things like that? Like, I mean, I know of people who
like Thailand and shit, and they go look for like young ass but that's like some Epstein level shit, right?
Well, but let's just back it up for a second. Like, for instance,
all right, so I feel you bring a good point, right? You bring a really good point, because you're talking about like 60-something-year-old guys, right? And then they go and get like a 25-year-old. Right. And you could still say, sorry, yeah?
No, and just to add to that, I mean, they're not being prosecuted. Why? Because it's in a different... I mean...
Well, they're not being prosecuted because the girls are overage.
Right. That's my point. But like, everybody wants to make us think about it when it's here in the U.S. or whatever.
No, I don't. I think that's not. I think the case is that I think everyone agrees that a 65-year-old with a 25-year-old is a bit creepy. She's in it for the money. He's in it for the fresh flesh, and everybody thinks it's a bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's legal, so you can't really do much about it. I think, are you trying to parallel here the things that a 65-year-old and a 25-year-old, they're over 40 years of difference, and he definitely has power over this person, because he has more money than her, because he has more knowledge. She's fucking probably dumb at that age, right? Not because she's hot, but because of the age.
She's definitely less wise, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, for lack of better words. So let's say that. But then you could also argue like that's even more powerful than what a 21-year-old might have over a 17-year-old. Which I'm not saying is right, but I'm just trying to like compare it, because in Latin America, there's places where like 15, 16-year-olds get married to like a 28-year-old dude, and that's seen as normal. So what I'm trying to say here is that is a very it's a delicate situation. This is coming from somebody, again, when I was 18, I was into older girls just because I didn't like immature women. But I'm just saying, in the legality of it, I think if we draw the line at 18, even if you like young girls, you better wait the fucking line or you go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
I think that should be clear. But then, if you are seeing girls that are over 18, regardless of your age, isn't that legal? What I thought you were saying, because this also happens, you got men from the U.S., Australia, the UK, older men, 65, they go to this Southeast Asia countries like Thailand, Vietnam, and they actually get 15, 16-year-olds, which obviously is even more fucked up. Yeah. So what you're saying is actually still within legal morality, I guess, if they're over 18, if they're 20, 25. I mean, if they're 20, 25, they know what they're doing, man, and they're taking advantage of it. They're making a lot of money, so they don't have to work at McDonald's, I don't get to do that. I have to deliver pizza,
Right. I mean, we just have to do what needs to be done. I mean, and it sucks that, like, there's a lot of people who can take advantage of, the power that they have over somebody to, I don't know, take advantage of a situation.
Okay, but we need to define what is okay and not regarding power dynamics, because I hear people saying that, oh, this girl hooked up with this artist, but then at the next day she didn't like how the artist like sort of treated him, like, oh yeah, like we're done type shit, like, and then she's like, oh, I felt violated because I admire him, so he had power over me. And it's like, well, I mean, yeah, but that's life, right? Like, women always want to fuck somebody that they in a way admire because of their achievements, and then men, we naturally want to fuck somebody that we admire because of their beauty, and that's just our biological make. No?
Yeah, I mean, I don't find anything wrong with keeping it legal. You know what I'm saying? But what I do find it messed up, and this is kind of just to bring it back to the sexual misconduct topic, is that I feel like, dude, okay, like, these people, if they're legitimately like pursuing someone after they know, then we can talk about how that's wrong. But like, if we're gonna make a big stink out of it, like, before you ruin someone's, I really feel that before we start ruining someone over it, that we should just be confirming that information.
Yeah, like, it should be like the judicial system where you're innocent until proven guilty. The problem is that as soon as you are accused of anything, the media already, you already
have
on you.
Exactly. You already have like a predetermination of who you are.
And that's fucked, man. That's I think. Okay, another thing. Is being a douchebag, an asshole, illegal? Let me give you examples. In the case of Chris D'Elia, if the only thing that he did, I'm not saying that this is, there's still things coming out, but in his case, and I'm talking about him because that's the reason, but there's many, let's just talk in general. If some guy's like a famous comedian or actor, he invites you to the premiere of a movie or to see his show, and then he texted you like, oh, after the show, come to the bags and so we can make out and shit. Is that wrong? I mean, I don't think I would do that myself, but if it's two adults that consensually want to have casual sex, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Right. No, I don't either. I mean, that's fair. I mean, if you send the text and you get a reply back, well, there's your answer. If you send the text and they end up showing up, well, there's your answer, right? I mean, what more do you need? But what ends up happening is that maybe he sends the text, she ends up showing up, it ends up happening, he does her, he pushes, like, he dismisses it and never talks to her again, and then now
and then she wants to get vengeful.
Yeah, now I'm
not saying that's what happened, but that's a possibility. I can see why you would be mad, like, oh, this guy's a fucking douchebag, he's famous, so he's just fucking a bunch of girls and shit. Fuck him. I could see that, but that's
Yeah.
not illegal,
Yeah. Exactly.
right?
No, exactly. And I think that I would actually, this is just our opinion, and like we said, I don't know if we said it on air or off air, but here we are, two dudes, two penises thinking about this. I would love to have a woman's perspective on this.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think that would really make this a fair one. As we're talking, it's like I have my initial reaction, and then you start to like try to see it from someone else's point of view, and like I wish I just understood the dynamic a little bit better.
Yeah, we don't want to sound douchey, like, cause like at the end of the day, I understand when these accusations come out that there is a reason. Again, I mentioned this before, for when one woman comes out, like with the whole Cosby situation, one woman came out, and then a bunch of others came out, and you could be like, oh, they're a mob trying to fuck them over, but also, and it's indicatively of what I think happened in the Cosby cases, you had a lot of these women that this happened back in the day when it was harder to really talk about this, and they just felt safer to talk about it now when they saw others come out. Yeah. So that's a reality. So that does happen. Now, there's another reality that when someone sees somebody come out and get clout because, oh, they did this to me, and they're like, oh, I remember I was once with this other artist, and, he fucked me once and never called me again. You know what? I actually don't think I was consensual that night, if I remember now. Right. I was a bit drunk. I'm not saying that's what happens all the time, but that's also a possibility, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's bad people in every group of people, so...
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
But yeah, we understand that we're just guys, and... Yeah, we're welcome to anybody giving us their opinion through the comment section, especially women, and give us your take on it, because it is, at the end of the day, something that we're saying from our side, trying to be as fair as possible, but it is.
Right. So, I mean, if you have anything, that you guys want to add to the conversation, or if you guys want to open up a dialogue on this, we're welcome to any sort of feedback from you guys. If you can, just go ahead and leave a comment below. And we really do appreciate your viewership, and thank you for sticking through some of the tough topics that we go over. Because you know what, at the end of the day, like I was talking to Kiko, and him and I think we both agree, we have this platform, for fun. We wanna bring good content. We wanna have a very casual baseline. This is what we think of the situation of today. There could be a million other podcasts with a million other different viewpoints, and we're happy that you're here with us on ours. But we, like everyone, are in a pursuit for being better people in general, and learning more and understanding more. And this is our view.
Yeah, at the end of the day, anything we say here,
like all the other topics that we've
are
done,
things that we
want to hear from you. We want to know what the other side of the coin is,
or even become more strong.
That way we can be better. Like
that's what life is.
We're
that's
just trying to become better people.
You should also do. You should never subscribe to any idea so hard that you don't ever question it. You want to question every idea you have continuously, so that you could be closer to the real truth every time. Don't subscribe to an ideology, a political party. The only thing you should be subscribed to is to the ideology of always questioning everything you believe on a daily basis. Keep poking your beliefs, and that's what we do here. So if at any point you find that anything we say is edgy, is offensive, keep in mind that we're just putting it out there and trying to think it over while you guys listen. So like I said, and what Steven also mentioned, give us your opinions, your comments, so that we can also see your side of it if it's different, So, well, thank you for listening, and thank you for sticking with us, like Steven said, through these delicate topics. We want to be fun and funny, but sometimes we really want to give our thoughts on things that we find important in life and in society nowadays. And I think it is important to take those risks and to talk about those things, even though you might feel uncomfortable doing so. So thank you for enduring those times.